Hey guys, we're here taking a look at the brand new Big Dipper. We're excited to show off some of the new features and design changes that we've made to the Big Dipper that we think are going to help a lot of our customers in the field. And so we want to make sure you get to see everything, know about it before you get one of these in your hands. And so let's jump right in, take a look. You notice it looks completely different. So it's got a more sleek design. You can see that at least on the W200 and W250 sized units, we're going to have plastic wing lids instead of the stainless steel. The larger ones will still have stainless steel and a little adapter strip. We can show you those in one of the later videos. So the big feature change, the big change that we've made with this product is that it's sealed. It's completely sealed. So this tank is not going to allow odors to escape out into the kitchen, at least through any of the enclosures. And so we've gone through a lot of design testing and changes. And so let's go ahead and pop up one of these wing lids and take a look at what we've got. First thing you'll notice, I'm going to unlatch the clasps. We still have them in the front and the back, but we now have magnetic enclosures, so you'll have to pull up a little bit to get it off. We recommend pulling from the ends and popping it up, hinging it up like this. And so I'll flip this over and we'll take a look. Couple of things to notice. One is just the rib design. So we've got ribbing design to make sure that it's sturdy, it's durable, not going to break. But also, if you notice right around here, we've got this one particular rib that goes around, and that's what actually is creating a seal. That's what's going to keep the seal between the lid and the gasketing here. We've chosen a different gasketing that's going to be a little bit more tacky and take in that rib right there and create a nice seal. We tested a lot of different designs, and honestly this was the best that we could create a seal with. You also notice that the magnets that I was talking about are right here on the center module. So we got two right there, and they're gonna grab hold of this metal plate that's attached to the underside of the wing lid, and so that's why when you put it back on here, you're gonna get a nice snap when it's sealed. That's how you know it's on there. And then the clasps don't do as much, except for just help keep constant pressure down on this lid to make sure that you've got a good seal. Some of the other areas where we've got improved sealing, we used to have a sump cover that was more open and loose. Now there's actually a flip door that closes and snaps down. It also has magnets right here, which are going to grab onto magnets in this flip door, and you can see it pulls down real hard. We have gasketing around here to help create a nice seal, make sure that no odors can escape out of there. You also notice right here that we have a brand new wheel wiper design. Previous designs, people were able to put it in upside down or backwards, and it didn't operate properly. The only way to get this in here, at least the only way we found so far, that you can actually close the flip door is the right way. And you can see it's got a little key right here, so you can tell it needs to sit in there flush so that the flip door can close, just like that. Finally, I'm going to come around here and just show you on the grease collector. You notice we've changed the grease collector design. It's now very sleek, fits in with the design of the unit. But the way that it goes on there, you have to open it up a certain way. So what you have to do is rotate and pull away. So when you rotate, a plate clears on the side, and I'll show you that, and then you pull it off the trough. And so you can see instead of the square trough we had previously, we now have a completely circular trough, much more durable, so if people hit it on the side, it's not going to break. And you can see on the grease collector, we use this for some testing, so it's got a little bit of oil on it, but you can see this cone that's used for locating it as you're sliding it on, and gasketing on the inside, which fits tightly around the grease trough right here. You can also see this plate. This plate right here is going to settle in here, and what that does is really locks it in close to this unit. It's not going to fall off, and keeps it nice and sealed. And so when you put it back on, it'll locate itself pretty easily when you slide it on. But again, as we discussed, for people to take it off, you're going to have to rotate it counterclockwise and then pull away from the Big Dipper. All this does is creates a better seal, again trying to make sure that odors don't get outside of the Big Dipper. Come around over here, we'll take a look. Because it is sealed, to make sure that it's able to breathe, we have added a tank vent right here with a spin fitting connection. All of them will come plugged. We have instructions in our manual on how to plumb that based on different plumbing configurations. But it's pretty important that you go ahead and attach this to some kind of a facility vent or to the outlet vent. So if you have the outlet vent over here, you can always go and attach to that. In fact, we can come over here real quick. We've got one plumbed up right underneath here. I can show you that. We've got pipe coming off of the unit and going into the outlet vent. Obviously going to nowhere because this is not a kitchen, but that just shows you the way that it would be plumbed in a normal kitchen. So what we're going to look at now is the digital control right here. You can see it looks very different. The 40,000 series, as we called it internally, really only had 3 buttons, not a lot of instructions. This has a lot more in the way of instructions for end users, so they understand exactly what's going on. You can see we have 5 different settings just right off the bat, and each of these gives the amount of time it's going to skim every single day. And of course they're going to base their skim frequency on how much grease they're pulling out, how much grease they're producing. The controls are very simple and easy. We've got a select skim mode button right here, and that's going to toggle through the different options. And so it just goes 1 through 5. Everything's going to ship out set on number 3, skimming 45 minutes per day. But we have a range from 15 to 30, 45, 60, and 120 minutes per day. So a lot of different options based on how much grease they're actually producing. And again, the way to change it is just as simple as pushing this and cycling through. It will set the time to run the same time each day based on when you plug it in. So whenever you power up the unit, either by plugging it in or disengaging the safety switch on the back of the unit, and we can show you that in a little bit. The way to set the timing of it is to power it up at the time that you want it to run each day. And so if you plug it in at 8:30, it's going to run at 8:30 the next day. The only exception is setting number 5. Because that runs 120 minutes per day, we only have it set, the unit's only going to run a maximum of 60 minutes at a time. So what we have it set to do is to run 60 minutes every 12 hours. So that will run at 8:30 in the morning and 8:30 in the evening. Again, they're going to know when it's going to run. They're going to have more control. The other thing that you have, this other button here, is the skim start stop button. Really, this should be used as just a test to make sure the unit is operating as expected. So what you can do is if you press this, the skimming wheel is going to come on. You can hear it there. And by pressing it again, the skimming wheel stops. And so you can use it just to test out whether or not the unit is operating correctly. If you feel like you just need an extra skim, you can also press that. It does not interfere with the timing of the unit. If you plug it in at 8:30 in the morning, it's going to run at 8:30. If you press this start skim stop button, it's going to run the length of time for whatever setting you have, but it's not going to interfere with your normal operation, daily operation of the unit. So it's great for inspectors. If an inspector comes in and wants to see the unit running, they can press this, they can stop it, and it doesn't mess up with the timing of the operation of the unit for the restaurant. In the event of a power outage, or if you have to remove the CLA and disengage the safety switch, the operation will actually remember what skim mode you've chosen. And so when power is reapplied, it'll remember exactly which mode you were on. However, your schedule may be off, and so if you originally had it running at a certain time during the day, it's going to lose that timing, and it'll start running at the time when power was reapplied. In order to get it back on the schedule you want, you just need to disengage and reapply power at whatever time you want it to run during the day. In addition to default skim settings, there are extreme skim settings for those restaurants and kitchens that are producing a lot of grease. This can be accessed simply by holding down a button when you power up the unit. So what we're going to do is we're going to disengage the unit. You can see it's right now in the default skim mode, which is shown by just one LED being lit. So if we unplug the unit, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold down the select skim mode button while I power up the unit. When it does so, you're going to see 2 LEDs on at the same time. It's going to start with 2 and 5 on at the same time. What this is going to do is run once every 6 hours. In addition to this, if you just toggle using the select skim mode, you can access a setting with LEDs 3 and 5 lit that will run every 4 hours. And so you can toggle back and forth between those to access these extreme modes. In order to go back to default skim settings, if you need to, just disengage power and then hold down the select skim mode button again while you reapply power. And you'll see that one LED is now lit up. And so that's been how to access the extreme modes. Really, this should only be done if you're producing a lot of grease, and we really recommend you reach out to Thermaco and talk with us before you switch over to one of these extreme settings. A lot of the internal configurations as far as baffling is stayed exactly the same. There's still strainer basket, which needs to be emptied daily. It needs to be emptied every single day. They still need to clean out the grease collector every single day. That's critical, those two pieces. We recommend they clean out the wiper blade assembly at least once a week, as grease congeals on top of it. And with this new design, we feel it's really important that they clean out the trough as well every single week, just to clear anything that may gather inside of there. But again, that maintenance really doesn't take much time at all. And in a couple of minutes a day, they can be in control of their own grease maintenance and not be paying pumping charges or cleaning charges. All right, we're going to take a look at the underside of the CLA or electrical assembly and just take a look at some of the design changes. As always, anytime you're going to look on the underside of this or remove this from the tank, disengage power, safety. Anytime you have mechanical moving parts, we want to go ahead and just be safe and unplug it. Let's go ahead and remove the grease collector, set that aside. Take off the wing lids by removing the clasps and hinging up. Let's pull that off. Just want to point out here, we do have gasketing along the edge of the center module as well, just to create a seal between the center module and the wing lid. Additionally, there's magnets that are helping to hold down everything and create a tight seal. Let's go ahead and flip this up real quick and take a look at the underside. First thing I want to point out, I know I mentioned it previously, but here's the safety switch if you're ever looking for that. If this is not engaged fully, if you don't feel that click right there, there's not going to be power going to the unit. It's not going to operate. You'll notice the design has been updated so that this rib actually goes around the safety switch. What that does is keeps any moisture from being able to get up into this cavity right here. In fact, this entire portion right here with the control board and all the electronics is sealed off from the tank. No moisture can get inside of there, no condensation buildup. So we're protecting the internal components, making sure they're gonna last. A lot of the other components are the same, but we do have a new heater. We've increased the wattage from 450 watts to 1100 watts. That's just going to allow that grease to liquefy more quickly. And we have a thermistor here, as we saw in current iteration of the Big Dipper. That allows us a lot of different controls on the temperature of the unit. It's going to allow us to make sure that we're getting that grease up to the 120, 130 degree mark, where it's optimal for the skimming wheel to pick it up. One thing of note, 60 minutes before a skim cycle, this heater's going to come on. It's going to raise the temperature in the tank and go ahead and liquefy the contents of the grease to make sure that when the skim cycle comes on, it maximizes that entire skim cycle and gets grease out. So this is just a look at a few of the different components on the underside. Again, some of the same ribbing on the front and back, designed to really seal on this gasketing and keep any odors from coming up out of the tank. Well, that's been a look at the 51K series Big Dipper with Advanced Odor Protection. We've taken a look at the controls and updated features and benefits of this series versus previous series. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with us, or if you need additional product information, specification sheets, manuals, or sales collateral, just reach out to us and we'll be happy to send it along.